Anyway, getting back to our lesson here, what's wrong with this setup? Now, you've got a pretty good structure here. The only thing that's missing and that's wrong here is that you're the beneficiary of this foundation. So what we do is we set up a trust structure. I'm going to draw it as a cloud here. I don't want to get into all the details. You can call us on the phone if you want to get more details. We set up a trust structure in 2 different jurisdictions that have amazing secrecy laws. Some of them very draconian. One of the jurisdictions is a very small jurisdiction, and people will not be going to any court there to try to break any trusts in that jurisdiction. But anyway, we set up these trusts, and we set them up as truly self-owned, which is the holy grail of asset protection, self-owned entities. Now these self-owned entities then take your place as the beneficiary of the foundation. Now, when it's all said and done, how do you know that this is a question we get all the time, how do we know that someone isn't going to just take over my money, how someone's going to run away with my money, and so on? Well, that protection comes on several different levels. First of all, the ownership between the corporation and the foundation is these bearer shares. In this case, the bearer shares are in the name. They're not exactly bearer anymore because we've written the name of the foundation on them. So these shares will have the name of the foundation as the owner. However, you physically hold these shares. So no matter what happens out here in this trust way over here, what happens in the foundation, you have the share certificates that basically without the share certificates no one can prove ownership because of the way we register the corporation and the foundation. The corporation's ownership by the foundation is non-registered. This is very important because remember, back we explained before, we do not want any association between the corporation and the foundation. This is another mistake that other law firms make. They register the ownership of the corporation as the foundation. So anyone coming after your money can easily make that association, and you basically blew 2 layers of asset protection for absolutely no reason other than just bad practice by lawyers, to be honest with you. So now you've got a trust owning 2 trusts that own each other, basically, that own a foundation, that own the corporation, and the foundation and the corporation have a bank account. That is a very solid asset protection plan. And if you look at it, you can see that in this whole structure, well, maybe you can't see it, but we can set up this entire structure without any of your information. We only insert your information after the fact. We basically just include you in the places that you want it appropriately done. We can literally have, and we do have, shelf trusts, shelf foundations, and shelf corporations ready to go. We're the only law firm that can get you a bank account the same day. We can literally get you a corporation, foundation, and bank account in one day. If you go with a shelf corporation, we have a great relationship with one of the biggest banks here in Panama with over 40 billion in assets, a huge bank, and we send a lot of good clients to this bank, so much so that the bank manager actually comes to our offices, our law offices here in Panama, to interview you, and we're the only law firm, by the way, that is approved to open accounts through them remotely. That is, you don't have to come to Panama, although we always recommend that you do come to Panama because you can sit down, meet with the bank manager, and really get a good feeling. However, we can also arrange this meeting over the phone. Oh, one more thing I neglected to finish our little talk about how much each thing costs. You've got the corporation bank account for $17.95. The foundation corporation with 2 bank accounts, that package is $3,300. And the entire package, including the trust, which gives you an unbreakable structure, sells for $54.90. I should mention to you that the trust structure is absolutely impenetrable. One of the reasons is that if you were to go to, say, jurisdiction 1, which I'll tell you, the first jurisdiction is Belize. If you were to go to Belize and you were to try to determine who actually owns that trust, you would discover that if you were lucky enough to go through a long legal battle and you were able to prove that that Belize should release your information, they would give a court order. And by the way, it's kind of humorous, the only place where that information exists is at our law firm and of course with you, but since you're not legally anywhere in the structure, the court order would have to come to us. Now when we get a Belize court order, it's of absolutely no use to us. There's nothing we can do with it except for put it in the shredder for confidentiality reasons. So that person would then, or that attacking party would then have to bring that court order to Panama, show a Panama court that the laws are significantly similar enough that they should also, and explain their whole case, basically redo everything and explain why that court order should be implemented here in Panama. If they did in fact implement that court order here in Panama, then we would release the information that Belize trust is in fact owned by, or the beneficiary of it is, another trust in another jurisdiction, which I'm going to leave out for now. And that jurisdiction is in another part of the world, on the other side of the world, in a small, tiny island, known for the draconian laws. I wouldn't keep money there, it's too small for money, but in terms of court cases, it's absolutely perfect. Nobody's going there to try any court cases, and they're not going to win. But if they did, and they went there, and they went through the whole rigmarole, they would end up with a court order from that jurisdiction. Again, that court order would be absolutely useless for us to provide any information because it's not a Panama court order. So they'd have to come to Panama, explain why the laws are similar enough, which actually they're not, but say they were able to convince them to do that. In the end, they would discover that that second trust is in fact owned by the first trust. So the trusts actually co-own each other, which gives you a self-owned entity, which gives you the ability to have a beneficiary of a foundation that is not you. Yet you retain all the control of each one of the trusts, foundation, and corporation, and bank accounts. So you have all the control with none of the negative associations with ownership. Now that concludes the lesson today. Bye.